Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we continue on the chase towards the chase for the championship here in Season 2 of the Duracell Cup Series. Getting ready for race number 16 on the season here as we are at the Concrete Monster Mile Dover International Raceway for the running of the AAA 400. 60 laps of racing here today. Last year brought about a very exciting race where we saw both the inside and outside line work. Hopefully that'll be the same case this season. We are using the 2019 rules package, which we did use last season as well, so hopefully we'll be having a race somewhere along the same lines of what we had last year. Last week at Pensacola Road Course, we saw pit strategy come into play, and Carson Gum picked up his second win of the season. That now ties him with Michael Norman for the number 1 seed, both of them with 2 wins apiece here in Season 2, and Carson Gum lines up on the pole for today's race, so trying to get the season-leading 3rd win of the season with good starting track position. He'll line up alongside of Carter Friesen. Friesen comes into this race running very well in the point standing, 6th in points, but he's still looking for his first win of the year. He has not won since the season opening Daytona 500 back in Season 1. Sebastian Kukelan had a great top 5 run last week at Pensacola Road Course, trying to become the second rookie to win this year as he'll start off in 3rd. And the defending winner of this race, Wyatt Quayle, will line up in 4th. Now, Wyatt Quayle already has a victory this season. Earlier on this year, he won at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But the big story about Wyatt Quayle has not been his win, but the fact he has continued to free fall through the point standings. For the last 5 weeks or so, he's been outside the top 30 in points, and he comes into today's race currently in the 38th position in points. He's about 50 points back from 30th in the standings. That's just how bad a season it has been so far for that 41 team out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports. Now, obviously, the first step to recovery would maybe be a second win. He's already won at this track before last year, so maybe a little bit of lightning can strike to get his season turned around, but we're going to have to wait and see if that's going to be the case or not. And then it's an all-Dodge Challenger Row 3 with Zach Rogers, Ryan Brommer. Brommer's already run at Sonoma. Zach Rogers still trying to get his first win of the season, and he comes into this race running very well in the points, 8th in the standings. A win could probably propel him into the playoffs. Without further ado, though, let's go down trackside and get those most famous words in motorsports as Miles the Monster is hungry.
Drivers, start your engines.
Left side of your screen will show you today's 40-car starting lineup, and let's give you your top 10 overall in the point standings coming into today's race. Matt McIntyre headed into Pensacola Road Course last week as the points leader and left with an even bigger points lead, now 21 points over the new second-place driver in standings. That is Mitchell Collins. Then it's 23 points back to Jordan Lopez in 3rd. Carson Gum, after his second win of the season, jumps up to 4th with Ryan Acosta in 5th. He dropped 3 spots in the standings after last week. He had a DNF, did Acosta. Carter Friesen, who starts on the outside of the front row, is 6th. Benjamin Miles, our Coke 600 winner, is 7th. Zach Rogers, we already mentioned, in 8th. Dylan Young, our Darlington winner, in 9th. And Austin LaPlante currently completes your top 10. 79 points separate the top 10 in the standings. A couple of drivers we'll have to keep an eye on during the course of this race that are down either just inside or outside of the danger zone. Jose Mills, our winner earlier this season from Bristol, he's 28th in points. Kyle Matthews currently is 32nd in points, and Alexander Rowe just 1 position better in 31st. Concrete Mile Racetrack. Remember, Jose Mills won at the last concrete stop at Bristol, so we'll see what the 98 can do as Carson Gum, 2-time winner this season, and Carter Friesen, couple of Chevy Camaros get us underway. Green flags out. Let's roll at the Monster Mile. Whoa, a little contact there for the race lead. Zach Rogers driving it in deep into turn 3, and he nearly hooked the leader Carson Gum around. That was close. We nearly had a caution on the first lap as they're 3 wide already. Wyatt Quayle stuck on that outside line. Ryan Brommer went to the middle. Now they're settling it back out to double wide. Good racing up here at the front, though. I kind of don't want to have to drop back because Zach Rogers looks like he is hungry to take the lead away from that Toontown rewritten Chevrolet Camaro. Charles Samper going to move into 3rd place there. The Orange Vanilla Coke Chevrolet getting by Sebastian Kukelan for that position. And here comes Rogers trying to get in there in turn 3, and Carson Gum tried to throw the block on him this time, decided better of it because Rogers was there. And now we're going to see if that inside or outside line is going to prevail more than the other. Ooh, contact again there between these two. Did somebody go down and remind these guys this is only lap 4? Because they are racing like it's the final laps of this event. But Zach Rogers wants the lead. He will muscle his way to the top position. Now Carson Gum falls back into the clutches of Charles Sanford for second. And as soon as I say that, Carson Gum gets a nice run there off of 4. He'll hang on to that runner-up spot. Now Sanford under fire from Sebastian Kukulon. That's for third place. Kukulon last week, I mentioned a top 5 run, but he's been struggling so much in the points that top 5 run only moved him up 1 spot in the standings. And these two will not let each other be. Carson Gum now to the inside of Rogers, and they'll race it back to the caution. I don't like seeing smoke in turn 1. And that's why Matthew Rodriguez sitting there on the banking of the apron and the racetrack. Looks like he teleported to pit road in time, and it looks like we will not have what typically happens here at Dover when a wreck happens in turn 1, where the leaders will LePage into cars that have not yet left the scene of the accident. That's a tough break there for Matthew Rodriguez. He struggled with a DNF last week at Pensacola Road Course. Looks like he may suffer another DNF here at Dover. He dropped from 14th to 21st in the points last week, and he may free fall even more. Zach Rogers waiting for the pace car to get by, as well as Carson Gum, who, according to the scoring, did beat Rogers back to the line. And finally, they will get themselves situated, which is very important because if Rogers was ahead of either the pace car or the 3 when they cross the start-finish line this next time around, he would have been penalized and had to come to pit lane. We saw that Matthew Rodriguez was on pit road. Johnny Gardner's got damage. Mitchell Collins, second in the points, has got some damage on the back of his Shell Pennzoil Ford. I also saw rookie Casey Nanico had some damage on his number 77. While Benny Watson there in the 75 also with some damage on his Hers Toyota Camry. Looks like some of these guys are trying to get their positions back. I don't know if maybe they spun after the caution and now they're trying to get their spots back or not. Derek Hamill, I can't tell if he's got any damage. Same for Chris Dollerton. Looks like they might be okay. You can visibly see the damage on the back of the Hulu Toyota of Casey Nanico, though. It's like Matthew Rodriguez will get back out onto the racetrack, so apparently he either just was spun down there on that area where the banking of the apron and the racetrack meet and had to teleport because of that, or the car isn't nearly as damaged as we originally thought. So it looks like Matt Rudd will continue, but he's going to be at least 1 lap down, depending on how much longer he's going to sit on pit road. The drivers did not come to pit lane here. The leaders did not come to pit road. So that means one of 2 things. Either 1, they are going to have to pit and they're not in their fuel window to make it the rest of the way, or they aren't going to have to pit at all. Matthew Rodriguez left his pit stall. Carson Gum's the leader. Let's go back and see what brought out the caution for the first time here today at the Concrete Monster Mile. So it's back towards the rear of the field as well. 3 wide off turn 4. That's Casey Nanico in the middle. You see a little contact right there between himself and Mitchell Collins, but it really was Michael Norman who started the wreck as he got a little bit loose off the corner. It turns him down to the right rear quarter panel of Casey Nanico. Nanico trying to gather it up, gets into Mitchell Collins. They're going to slide back up the racetrack. Norman's going to get collected yet again, and that might have actually taken Norman out of this race without me knowing it. There you see Matthew Rodriguez. He made a little contact with Mitchell Collins, and as his car spins down to the inside of the racetrack, it gets stuck there on that banking transition. But Michael Norman, 2-time winner, a lot of damage in the front end of his race car. He may have retired out of the race already, and that's maybe why we didn't see the 18. Kind of curious about up here, though, because we saw, I think it was Benny Watson and Johnny Gardner. The 2 of them had some damage. Did they have a wreck coming back to the caution? Oh, yeah, at least back here there was one. That's Johnny Gardner and Cole Baker. Oh, actually, it was actually Levi McIntyre in the middle. Contact there between Baker and McIntyre. McIntyre tries to give Baker room. He gets up into Johnny Gardner, and they're just basically door slamming each other, not giving each other a whole lot of room there. This was after they had crossed the line to receive the caution. That's why we saw Johnny Gardner going up past some cars to try and get positions back. And Alexander Rowe got a piece of that as well as Gardner got him in the driver's side door. Cody Lamas back behind this, and he's going to get through, it looks like. What about with Benny Watson further up, though? Oh, there's the 75. What happened to him? That's where he gets his damage. He gets hit from Adam Garcia. Oh, well, as he hits the brakes, Jack Mitchell does not. Mitchell is literally into his left rear quarter panel, and it's going to spin the 75 car around. Watson crossed the line in the 19th position, so that's where he was able to get his spot back. Now, he had more front-end damage. I don't think just the shot from Adam Garcia was what gave him the front-end damage. Because if you look right here, there's the shot into the right front. He does not have a buckle on his hood at this point. So who hits him is the question. Oh, it's going to be Johnny Gardner right there in the 14. Well, to be honest, that gave Watson damage, but it actually saved him from having to teleport to pit road. I think he was stuck in the same area that Matthew Rodriguez was, and if Johnny Gardner hadn't hit him, Benny Watson probably would have been trapped a lap or two down. So Johnny Gardner kind of saved Benny Watson there, but that's what brought out the caution for the first time today, and then the wreck coming to the yellow flag. Let's go back for the restart. Green flag will come back out on lap 10 of 60, giving us 51 laps to go. You see Matthew Rodriguez there. He is only one lap down, so if he's able to get ahead of the race leaders here and get a quick caution, he could be back in the tail end lead lap. His teammate Michael Norman, though, is the first driver out of the race. He will finish in the 40th position. Top 10 as we go back green. It's Carson Gum and Zach Rogers, the first two. Sebastian Kukul on Charles Sanford and Carter Friesen, your top 5. Then Ryan Brommer, Trey Wright, Seth Cole, Matt Haas, and Austin LaPlante, your top 10. Green flag back in the air here at Dover. Now we know Matthew Rodriguez made some contact with Mitchell Collins, and that answers the question. I wondered if he might be off the pace or not, if he had any damage, and the answer is yes, as he is holding up third place on back. And the battle is back on between Rogers and Gum. Woo, back there, a little contact between Matthew Rodriguez and Sebastian Kukul, as I think Matt Rod's just trying to get out of everybody's way. Now he's up on that outside line as Zach Rogers trying to take the race lead away from Carson Gum. These two, they were all over each other in the first 10 laps, and it looks like they are rekindling that rivalry. But if they continue to battle side by side, that's going to bring third place car Carter Friesen into the mix. And look at this, Carson Gum's not going to give up. Crossover to the inside into turn 1. And Carter Friesen's back there saying, yes, yes, keep doing this, please. Because he, Sebastian Kukul, Trey Wright, they're all starting to catch back up here, and they'd be in the fight for this race lead momentarily. Well, they're going to be there even closer now because the caution flag is out. Second time today the caution flag waves, and that time Zach Rogers bested Carson Gum at the start-finish line. Oh, we got some big damage here. Oh, we got cars in the back straightaway. Ryan Acosta facing the wrong way, and Carson Gum nearly hit him. That was close. Adam Garcia is smoking. So too is Jesse Turner in the 47. Looks like those two will be done for the day. Ryan Acosta, boy, he's been so strong at the beginning of the season, and now all of a sudden he's hit a skid. The defending winner, Wyatt Quayle, his day is over. I saw Benny Watson. Second incident he's been in today. He looks like he may be out of the race as he's on pit road. Cole Baker, our Daytona 500 winner. That car may have flipped. He's got roof damage. And there was somebody else on pit road that I think already is DNF that I didn't see. We also have more drivers back here. Johnny Gardner, Keith Batson, Kyle Matthews, Ryan Butcher, Mitchell Collins. They've all got some damage there. Also, Levi McIntyre's got damage on the hood and rear of his race car, and I'm pretty certain he didn't have damage prior to this most recent caution. And Mitchell Collins, second in the points coming into this one. He's 2 for 2 and getting caught up in wrecks, and it'll be his final one as he's taking his car behind the wall. Johnny Gardner, you see there in the 14 coming to pit road. See if the Nutri-Chomps Toyota Camry will be able to continue. Looks like he will. I think Cole Baker's day is done, though. Keith Batson trying to get some work done on the front and right side of his prisoners of war, missing in action Ford Mustang. And there you can see Benny Watson is in the garage area now as they left behind the hood and rear deck lid. Batson will continue, as will Johnny Gardner. Looks like they'll get out ahead of the race leader, Zach Rogers. Let's go back and see what brought out the caution for the second time here today at Dover. Well, this is kind of ironic. Last year, 2 concrete winners, Kyle Matthews, who won at Bristol, Wyatt Quayle, who won here at Dover, they get together here for our second caution of the day, and this was just outside the top 10. Kyle Matthews hooks Wyatt Quayle in the left rear, and right back up into traffic here in turn 1. Nowhere for Jesse Turner to go. There is Benny Watson. Benjamin Miles just gets through. Keith Batson's collected up in that. There's Cole Baker. Levi McIntyre is going to get a shot right there from Mitchell Collins. You see Ryan Acosta up in the middle of this. Ryan Butcher as well. You can see the roof damage on Cole Baker. And I thought maybe he flipped over, but maybe there was a violent enough hit that gave him the roof damage. Let's take another camera angle of this. And it's hard to lay the blame on anybody here, too, because they were 3 wide, a couple of rows deep. And we saw just how little room drivers have given each other. You see right there, Kyle Matthews got off of Wyatt Quayle, but by the time the two of them hit the wall, there's just nowhere they're going to go except back up the track. That was a close miss there for Dylan Young. Benjamin Miles and James Qualls, I think, got a little bit of damage from this. And I want to watch Cole Baker. There you see him, that green car. Wow, surprisingly, a shot into the left rear quarter panel from Johnny Gardner gave him roof damage. Not really sure how that works, but okay. There you just see Adam Garcia there on the right side of your screen. His day is done. Cole Baker's out. Benny Watson, Kyle Matthews, Ryan Acosta, Ryan Butcher, Jesse Turner. They're probably all going to be done for the day. Some hard hits taken right there, and that's just one of the treacheries of Dover, especially when you've got the wall separating the track from pit road. When a car slides on the front straightaway, especially if it's just past the start-finish line, they are more than likely going to slide back up into traffic. And like we said, that was a battle around the 11th, 12th position, so there was no way that innocent victims were not going to get swept up in that one. Still waiting for the lights to go out atop the Dodge pace car as a Dodge leads this race. Zach Rogers out in front. Zach Rogers last season was a 2-time winner. His first win came at Pikes Peak. I'm trying to remember where his second win came at. I want to say it was Texas. Yes, it was, which is a track we've already been to this season when there was a schedule change. Rogers looking for his first win of this season, though. And you can see the garage area has been filling up after our first 2 cautions of the day in the first 15 laps of this race. Mitchell Collins, Wyatt Quayle, Jesse Turner, Benny Watson, Cole Baker, Adam Garcia, and Michael Norman are all out of this race. So 33 cars are still running, 32 of them on the lead lap. Matthew Rodriguez will line up on that inside line again, so he'll be a bit of a hindrance once more for these lead lap cars. As Zach Rogers leads Carson Gum, we'll see if it's going to be the Rogers-Gum Battle version 3 here when we go back green, as they have mixed it up on the last 2 green flag runs. Carter Friesen lines up now in 3rd place with Sebastian Kukulon and Trey Wright in 4th and 5th. Charles Sanford 6th. Matt Haas moved up to 7th. Vince Almriego and William Brock both cracked the top 10 since the last caution. They're 8th and 9th. And right now Seth Cole sits in that 10th position. Getting ready to go back green here. We will have, I believe if my calculations are correct, a total of 44 laps to go. Should point out, drivers did not come to pit road under this second caution either, as the green flag is back in the air. Now we know that Matthew Rodriguez is off the pace, so everybody's going to be trying to get around that 57 as soon as possible. Carter Friesen stuck there behind him right now. Now going to try and kick him to the outside line in front of Sebastian Kukulon, and that will work. As Rogers, for the moment, gets away from Carson Gum, and as soon as I say that, Carson Gum gets a big run there through the middle of 3 and 4. He may have a shot at Zach Rogers down here in turn 1. Whoa, contact between teammates back there. Kukulon and Almriego making some contact out of 4. Keeping it together, at least at this point in time. William Brock right there in the 88. Ryan Brommer there in the 9 as well. Both of the Dodge Challengers running very well here today, with Rogers out in front and Brommer just outside of the top 10. I think he actually just cracked the top 10. Yes, he did. Crossed the line in 9th. The battle is back on between Rogers and Gum up front, though, and Trey Wright's there in the mix as well in that 28 car. Trey Wright trying to get his second win of the season, winning earlier on this year at Manassas. Then you got Carter Friesen in 4th, Charles Sanford 5th. Things have gotten pretty single file back through about the 10th position. And this is definitely now a 3-car fight at the front of the field. A Dodge, a Chevy, and a Ford. Highest running Toyota right now, you'd have to go quite a ways back, I think, is Matt McIntyre, who's outside of the top 10 right now. No, actually, Matt Haas is the highest running Toyota, and he just crossed the line in the 16th position. Dylan Young making his way up into the top 10, our Darlington winner, getting by William Brock. And there's Jessica Shelton as well there in the 0-2. Shelton right now in the 11th spot. Back up front, still single file. It looks like we got more of a battle for second than a battle for the lead. Trey Wright all over the back bumper of Carson Gum. Gonna duck out of line here, heading into turn 3. That'll take the pressure for the moment off of Zach Rogers, unless Carson Gum can get a really big run on the high side here and get back to Rogers' bumper, which he very well might do here in turn 1. Nope, can't quite clear the 28. Looks like the inside line is the preferred line in turns 1 and 2. Outside line preferred in 3 and 4. You got to think that the spotters are noticing this and they are passing along that information to their drivers. I think they've definitely told the 28. You can see right there, he ran about a half groove higher than Zach Rogers, trying to get that better exit off the corner. As these drivers battle here, our best battle up towards the front is currently for the 7th position. That is Jessica Shelton battling with Vince Almriego. Actually, that is for 8th place. My apologies. Shelton's going to take the spot. Actually was able to get the inside line to work through 3 and 4. And now Dylan Young, following in her tire tracks, will look for 9th. Almost contact between teammates right there. Benjamin Miles racing with William Brock. That's a battle for around the 13th position. Benjamin Miles, he finished 2nd here at Dover 1 year ago to Wyatt Quayle. Having a good run here today in that 33 car. A couple of weeks ago, picked up his first career win at Charlotte, as we nearly had a wreck back here, and we nearly had a wreck again. A couple of rookie teammates there, Marcus Sachi and Derek Hamill battling each other just inside of the top 20. I want to move back up to the front purposely because I'm almost wondering if they're going to encounter Matthew Rodriguez at any point in time. Well, Matt Rod's actually running faster than a couple of other cars that are on track. Ryan Acosta in the 10, Kyle Matthews in the 09. They are in 31st and 32nd. They are on the lead lap. Matthew Rodriguez is currently a lap down in 33rd. Let's see, they're going into turn 3 right now. The leaders are at the start-finish line. So actually, there's quite a gap still before these leaders would have to deal with lap traffic. They've got still maybe about 2/3 of the racetrack. Carson Gum got around Trey Wright for 2nd. He's back on the bumper of Zach Rogers. I mean, Zach Rogers, what's at stake for him? Well, obviously running well in the points, a win could put him very much in the forefront of a playoff position. But for Carson Gum, he's already got 2 wins in the bank, and he's also running so well in the point stands that he can afford to be aggressive like this, because end result is he could end up having a 3rd win on the season, which would pretty much all but confirm him a spot in the chase for the championship. I can't say would definitely confirm him, because last year, remember, Jose Mills had 3 wins during the regular season, and he almost didn't make it into the playoffs because he was down near the danger zone of 30th in the standings. All of a sudden, Carson Gum, though, is having difficulty holding the bottom. Just lost 2nd to Trey Wright. Now he's under fire for 3rd place. Carter Friesen trying to take the spot. Charles Sanford right there as well. Drop back a little further. Jessica Shelton now moving by Sebastian Kukulon. That's for 6th. Kukulon falls to 7th. Crossover. Contact as he now is going to try and take the spot back. And Ryan Brommer waiting to see what happens in this as he rides in the 8th position. Jack Mitchell, good run there for the McDonald's Chevrolet out of JM01 Motorsports. He just moved by Dylan Young for the 9th position. And how about the points leader coming into this race? Matt McIntyre up here just outside the top 10. He's now in the 11th spot. Our Texas winner definitely having an unbelievable regular season as we see the battle now for 4th. Carter Friesen stuck on the outside line. Charles Sanford will move by for the spot. Meanwhile, up front, Trey Wright battling here with Zach Rogers. No surprise, to me at least, to see Trey Wright up here battling at the front, because last year, at another concrete track, Bristol, there were only really 3 drivers that battled it out for that win. One was Kyle Matthews, the eventual winner. One was Wyatt Quayle, and the other one was Trey Wright. Trey Wright would eventually that season go on to win at the dirt track of Lakewood, but proved that he was very competitive at the concrete tracks. I don't know where he finished at Bristol this year. Let me see if I can find out real quick. Trey Wright this year at Bristol finished in 28th. Finished a lap down. So obviously Not that great there. And if you're talking about people that run well at concrete, well, Zach Rogers at Bristol this season finished 3rd place. So there you go. He's out in front, leading this race. I'm really going to be curious, though, as far as the fuel window for these drivers. Can they make it 60 laps on fuel? That's 60 miles they would have to go. They've had the aid of 2 cautions, 2 early cautions, and they didn't come to pit road under either of those. So I don't know if these drivers can make it on fuel or not. I'm trying to remember back. Ooh, little contact there between Trey Wright and Zach Rogers. But I'm trying to remember back if we ended up having green flag pit stops in last year's race or not. A way that I would easily be able to find out is if I looked at the finishing results and see how many drivers finished on the lead lap, probably. We had 16 cars finish on the lead lap. So, yeah, that says to me we had green flag pit stops. My memory doesn't cast back as far as a year ago, so my apologies for not remembering all that information. People probably are yelling at their computer screen saying, yes or no, there were green flag pit stops. Well, I don't remember. Drop back a little further here, you find Jordan Lopez. Lopez started this race towards the rear of the field, if I remember, and he's now up in the 13th position. Good run for him. Jordan almost won the race last week at the Pensacola Road Course. Came up just short, though. Gained 3 spots in the standings, though, up to 3rd in points. 23 points back from Matt McIntyre. Now, he will probably jump up to 2nd in points now, or at least somewhere close to there, because Carson Gumb's also running up near the front, and he came in 4th in points, but Jordan Lopez definitely going to be moving up in the standings as we've got the pit stops with 20 laps to go. Zach Rogers and Trey Wright pit from 1st and 2nd. Charles Sanford, Carter Friesen pitted from, I think they were in 4th and 5th. And here we go. Brommer, Kukulon, Young, McIntyre, Mitchell, they're all in. Carson Gumb hits pit lane this time. And staying out will be the 42 of Vince Almriego, so he'll take the race lead. If I can even get to him with the camera focusing on all these drivers on pit road. So who's got the right strategy? Now remember, last week Carson Gumb was one of the first to hit pit road, and it resulted in a win. He stayed out an extra lap than Rogers and Trey Wright did, so we'll see if that strategy works for him as Almriego, Miles, Matt Haas, they're on pit road. Looks like Keith Batson's going to stay out a couple of laps, which that's not a surprise. He and Johnny Gardner, remember, they pitted under the last caution, so they're going to be a couple laps better on fuel than everybody else. I don't think they can make it, though, because we went back green on, I think it was like lap 16, which means they would be about roughly 4 to 5 laps short on fuel of making it the rest of the way. But right now, if they could get the aid of a caution, they would trap everybody down a lap. Batson and Gardner, right now, the only 2 that are left to come to pit road. And this is a battle right here for the race lead. This is a battle for a bonus point. Batson's already got one. Johnny Gardner would like to have one, even though he is damaged. Both these cars actually damaged, as they were both caught up in the 2nd caution of the day. Now, as these drivers battle amongst themselves, I want to jump up here. And this is why, because Trey Wright is ahead of Zach Rogers. And Jessica Shelton just got around Carson Gumb. So when Batson and Gardner come to pit road, I think Trey Wright would cycle to the lead. Rogers 2nd, Shelton to 3rd, with Carson Gumb in 4th. So Trey Wright and his team get it done on pit road. That is an exchange potentially for the lead. But we're still waiting to see when Keith Batson and Johnny Gardner come to pit road. I'll tell you who really lost a lot of spots on pit road. A couple of drivers. That was Charles Sanford and Carter Friesen. They lost a ton of positions on pit lane. Biggest gainers, Trey Wright gained a couple spots. Jessica Shelton gained a couple spots. And it looks like Matt McIntyre also gained a couple of spots on pit road. Looks like Johnny Gardner may be coming to pit road this time. And nope, still staying out. So does Keith Batson. If my calculations are correct, we'll see them on pit road somewhere around lap 54, lap 55. That will turn the race lead over to Trey Wright. And right now, Trey Wright, the last thing he wants is a caution, because that would trap him and everybody else 1 lap down. and they would be stuck behind the pace car. That would keep Keith Batson and Johnny Gardner the only 2 cars on the lead lap. Matt McIntyre trying to get around Johnny Gardner, and as soon as I jinxed it, the caution is out. And we just had an exchange for third. Zach Rogers just got around Trey Wright. The wreck was in 3. Oh my goodness. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now here's the thing. No, they're all a lap down, and a couple are 2 laps down. Oh my goodness. So in the final 10 laps, it's just going to be Keith Batson and Johnny Gardner that are going to be battling unless we get another caution. Holy cow. Matt McIntyre in 9th was just put 2 laps down. So he'll go to 1 lap down. Rogers, Shelton, Wright, Mitchell, Gum, and Almriego, they'll be on the tail end of the lead lap, but they'll have to restart behind the pace car and ahead of the race leader, which will be Keith Batson or Johnny Gardner. The one thing I said they did not want to see was a caution, and it happened. Question is, though, who's the culprit? Who brought out that yellow flag? Saw the skid marks over in 3. Don't see anybody with significant damage to give any indication of who it was. This right here, the battle off pit road, could be the battle for the race win that's going on right here between Batson and Gardner. And Batson's going to win the battle off pit road. Keith Batson with strategy and a damaged race car. Same for Johnny Gardner. Either one of them might be en route to a victory here. For Batson, it'd be the 2nd of his career. For Gardner, it'd be his 1st career win. We're going to be restarting with less than 10 to go as well, so it'll be a single file restart. Let's go back and see what brought out this caution and jumbled everything up. And it was Chris Dollerton. This was a battle for the 20th position. Dollerton, who finished 3rd here a year ago, going to get hooked by Austin LaPlante. Tries to save it, but up into the wall it goes. And you can see we're still green, but then when that car drifts backwards down into traffic, there's just no choice. NNSCRA officials have to throw the caution flag. And boy. Oh no, Jose Mills comes flying in. Okay, yeah, they definitely need to throw the caution then. Holy cow, Mills just clobbered him. Levi McIntyre may have gotten a piece of that as well. That's a hard hit for both Dollerton and Jose Mills. The defending champion and the driver who's tied for the most Duracell Cup Series wins get together there in turns 3 and 4. And as I said, it really jumbled up the field. It's now between Keith Batson and Johnny Gardner for this win, unless we get a very quick early caution. That wreck obviously takes Jose Mills and Chris Dollerton out of the race. They'll finish 32nd and 33rd. And you are looking at your race leader, Keith Batson. Johnny Gardner in 2nd. They are the only 2 that are really in the hunt for this win right now. With drivers staying out, that puts Zach Rogers, Jessica Shelton, Trey Wright, Jack Mitchell, Carson Gum, and Vince Almriego back in the lead lap. They're restarting just ahead of the race leader, Keith Batson, right here. They need a quick yellow to come out. They need a yellow to come out in the next 2 to 3 laps, so that way they can come back around, have a shot at this win. If there is no caution at that point, this race will either end under yellow if a caution comes out past that point, or one of these 2 drivers, Batson or Gardner, are going to win this race. Everybody else, 9th on back, Matt McIntyre, Derek Hamill, they are restarting behind the pace car at the front of the pack, but they are 1 lap down. They were 2 laps down when the caution came out, so they really don't have a shot of getting back on the lead lap. So we could have as many as 8 cars battle for this win if we get a quick yellow. Keith Batson and Johnny Gardner certainly hope that's not going to be the case. They want to battle for this win amongst themselves. Green flag is back in the air. Keith Batson at the very tail end of this field along with Johnny Gardner. This is your battle for the lead, potentially the race win. And remember, being at the tail end of the pack here, too, if a wreck happens up ahead, they may have nowhere to go. So if you're Johnny Gardner, what do you do? How anxious do you get to try and get by Keith Batson? Do you wait until the last lap, or do you make your move now and then try and put some traffic between you and the 39? Here comes Gardner to the bottom for the race lead. Just ahead of him is a battle for position between Carson Gum and Vince Almriego. That's a battle for 7th. As Gardner's going to clear for the top spot. Batson way up the track there, trying to get the run off of turn 4. And Johnny Gardner's going to have his hands full trying to get around these guys because Carson Gum and Vince Almriego, they are not damaged, and they are definitely up to speed because they were up inside the top 10 when that caution came out. Just the misfortune of the timing of that yellow. Keith Batson waited in the wings. Got his first career win last year at Richmond. Johnny Gardner has never won. He's been close a couple of times, but he's never been able to get that brass ring. If Gardner can close the deal, then Joanna Atwood Motorsports will have been 2 for 2 in going to victory lane here at Dover, because Wyatt Quayle won here last year as the slower car of Matthew Rodriguez holds Carson Gum up, and that allowed Johnny Gardner to get to Carson Gum's inside, and Carson's going to battle on the top side again. 4 laps to go. We are now out of the range of a caution flag, saving drivers like Shelton and Rogers, Trey Wright, Jack Mitchell, get them back on the lead lap. Johnny Gardner got around Carson Gum. He's got some daylight between himself and Keith Batson. 3 laps to go here at Dover. Now the battle really is on for 3rd between Shelton, Rogers, Mitchell, Wright, and Almriego, and that's all going on just ahead of the race leader, Johnny Gardner. That's the highest those drivers can finish because Gardner and Batson, they are not going to finish any worse than 2nd place in this race. Whether we finish under green or whether we finish under caution, because they're good to go on fuel and they've got nearly an entire racetrack between themselves and 3rd place. Gardner, all over the back bumper of Almriego. He's got Carson Gum, who is a lap down and up to speed between himself and Keith Batson. Batson has to hope Johnny Gardner gets pinned somewhere so that way he can make up some ground, but he's also losing time as at the line, Johnny Gardner this time by will see the white flag. You think back all the way to Phoenix of last year when he was 2 laps short from being able to pick up a victory. Well, this year, looks like he's going to get some sweet, sweet redemption. The timing of a caution, the aid of being able to get around some of these traffic machines. He's going to come off of turn number 4. Johnny Gardner will be the 6th, I believe, different first-time winner of the season. He wins at Dover. How about that? And correction, he is the 7th first-time winner this season. And by first-time winner, I mean the first win of his Duracell Cup Series career. Well, last year, the race was won by the number 41. How about inverting that to the number 14 here in Season 2? Johnny Gardner came into this race 33rd in points. He actually has been moving up steadily in the standings, and this win might have propelled him into the top 30 in points, and Johnny Gardner could very well be en route to his first playoff berth in the Duracell Cup Series. How about that? All about the timing of that caution. If that caution hadn't come out, who knows what would have happened in this race. But it did. It certainly jumbled the field up. And it came down between Gardner and Batson. And when Gardner made the pass on Carson Gum and had Gum between himself and Keith Batson, that was basically all she wrote. Because Keith Batson tried several times to get around Carson Gum. Carson Gum was faster. And Keith Batson just could not get by the wall that was Carson Gum to battle for the win. So Johnny Gardner with the victory. He becomes the 2nd Joanna Atwood Motorsports car to win this season. And as stated, it's his first career Duracell Cup Series victory. How about that? Keith Batson's going to bring it home, though, with 2nd place run. Both he and Johnny Gardner, who were involved in the 2nd caution of the day. Actually, I believe Gardner was involved in both cautions today. And what a Cinderella story. Comes out with the win. But both of them coming away with finishes that, let's be honest, they probably were not going to get had they not had that caution flag come out. Jessica Shelton's going to finish the day in 3rd, so if you think about it, Shelton probably would have won this race had we gone green to the finish. If she finished in 3rd, she would have cycled to 1st. Jack Mitchell will finish in 4th. Zach Rogers, who led a good portion of this race, maybe the most laps, he's going to finish in 5th, though. Trey Wright will finish the last car on the lead lap in 6th. Vince Almriego finishes the first car lap down in 7th. Carson Gum will finish in 8th. 9th for Carter Friesen, and 10th was Charles Sanford. Sebastian Kukulon is going to get Rookie of the Race as he just barely bests Cody Lamas. He's 11th, Lamas in 12th. Dylan Young brings it home 13th. 14th for Ryan Brommer. 15th was Derek Hamill. Points leader Matt McIntyre 16th. William Brock in 17th. And the rest of the top 20 were Ryan Butcher, Matt Haas, and Seth Cole. You look on down through the remainder of the finishing results. You had a number of drivers finish a lap down. Some finished 2 laps down. You had Matthew Rodriguez 3 laps down. And out of the race after 3 cautions, I should say, were Jose Mills, Chris Dollerton, Mitchell Collins, defending winner of this race, Wyatt Quayle, Jesse Turner, Benny Watson, Cole Baker, Adam Garcia, and 2-time winner, Michael Norman. Well, that's going to do it here from the Concrete Monster Mile. Johnny Gardner becomes the 7th different first career winner here in Season 2. As he takes the checkered flag in the AAA 400. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and be part of the crew today. We've shown you full finish results. These are your point standings heading next week, as today I don't think we're in Kansas, but next week we will be. We're going to the Kansas Speedway, and remember that race when it was a battle? I'm trying to remember who it was. Was it Ryan Brommer that Mitchell Collins bested in that race? All I remember is it was the last lap pass coming out of turn 4, and Mitchell Collins was able to pick up the victory for his first career win. Will we see something like that again this season? Only time will tell. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA, offline racing at its best.